Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion. It's the 31st of January 2017, and my name's Rich, and welcome to the Retro Revival Show and Mille Miglia 2. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. This is an arcade game, everybody, and it's a racing game, continuing with our Racing Week theme. There's a bunch of cars to choose from in this game, all old-fashioned ones as you can see, so I thought we'd try this one. Now, this game is interesting. The view, I think, is probably going to be the thing that lets it down the most here, but to be honest, I don't know. Let's give it a good playthrough, and we can make some observations along the way, as you know I do anyway. So, smooth, it's pretty smooth to play, and graphically it's alright, isn't it? I wouldn't say it's fantastic, but it's alright. It kind of reminds me of those rally games where you've got the co-driver yelling out commands as you sort of go around the track, but I don't know. The first thing I noticed at the start was it just sounded like someone getting brutally murdered. It didn't sound like tyres squealing at all. It sounded like someone having their head trapped under the rear wheels while you do a wheel spin. Not that I know what that sounds like. I have to stress that immediately, but never mind. This I've never played the original Mille Miglia, but it's all right. It's there. So we're driving the Ferrari 250 GTO, and I've got a new record. So let's stick in our initials here. It's not my initials, by the way, but that's DGC for my business name. But never mind, we won't go into that. This is a review. It's quite cool. You've got different courses. You can select them. You don't need to pass one before you go on to the other. You can skip ahead if you feel brave enough. You can see as they're all old-fashioned cars, which I think is absolutely fantastic. It's probably one of the stronger points of the game, actually. But I think the camera could have done with being pulled back slightly. I think having it this close in is quite difficult to figure out where the track is. Now I can see in the top right-hand corner you do have a little tiny map, but it doesn't exactly prepare you for the course ahead. It would have been nicer to, I think, to have had a actual full course like you normally get in driving games, so you can actually predict where the corners and things are going to be. You'll get the CPU shouting out various things like "hot shot driver," even if you're absolutely doing appallingly. So it's obviously very easy to please. I don't know. It's not as good as I was hoping it was going to be. Actually, I thought it might be a bit entertaining, but it's actually. I don't know. It's alright. It's nothing special. Like I said, I never played the original, so I couldn't really compare it to that, unfortunately, but it's alright. The controls are quite sharp, I have to say. They're quite tuned in nicely, so if you do push left and right, you do spin round those corners fairly quickly. I mean, graphically, it's alright. You can definitely tell that the cars are all separate. There is a bit of detail there on the sides there. You can see the numbers on the cars. There's not a lot of detail otherwise than that. The scenery is alright as well, actually. It goes so fast that you don't really get a chance to see it that well. But I kind of feel like Ace McQueen here from Disney's Cars. Maybe that's what he was modelled on. I don't know. Interesting. Okay, so there's various things you can do on here. You can jump over certain parts of the scenery, as you saw there. You can sort of bash and crash your way through the opposition cars as well to get them out of the way, but there's just something lacking, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know whether it is the camera angle that's letting this down, but it could have done with seeing more of the screen, if you see what I mean. It's quite close in, so I think if you'd have managed to get it pulled out just a little bit more, then this would have helped this game quite a lot. Now, this is a bit of a strange one as well, because it's not really a top-down racer either. It's kind of you're on a slant here, so the camera angle's a bit odd to start with as well. I don't think it really sort of lets it down that much, but it does take a bit of getting used to, especially if you're used to the traditional rear view car racing games. Now you can see here that things do start to get a little bit more tricky as you go. So I didn't hit the league table on that one, but we're on track 4 now. So let's see if this is going to be any harder. You do have a 60-second time limit on these tracks, and they do get progressively harder. And the other cars get a bit more aggressive as well. They try and stop you, which is quite cool as well. But I love the old design of the cars. I think that's quite an interesting way of doing it. And I believe the Mille Miglia is actually an event. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but I do believe that this is an actual event that does occur. So it's kind of nice that they've taken that aspect of it and fed that into the game as well. So we're battling against other drivers, and you can see there in the top left hand corner you can see your current placement. Now I'm third at the moment. I think this guy is second, and I'm going to, oh there we go, smash him out of the way by jumping over a bridge and landing on him. That's always a good way to get traffic out of the way. Don't recommend you try it in real life, because it'll probably get you a fine or a prison sentence. But yes, in this game, all is fair game. So there you are. It's fairly fast as well. I'm going to give it that as well as a bonus to its score. You see I'm coming up to 60 seconds now. I don't think I'm going to actually do this within the time limit. And no, I've surpassed it, so that's not good. And I was third anyway. So you get continues. As many credits as you can put in, that's how many continues you're going to get. So you can see here, let's have a look at this little silver car here. Let's have a go at that one. And so we're in a Porsche 5508, and let's have a go at that. And let's see if it's any better than the red one I was driving just now. There doesn't seem to be that much difference within the handling of the cars, to be honest with you. This one seems just as tricky, if it doesn't seem to be any different whatsoever to the Ferrari I was just driving then. So yeah, there's not much difference in the cars, not that I can tell anyway. If I don't do it on this one, I'll try a different car and see if we can see if there's any differences in that one. Maybe I've picked two rather sporty ones. Maybe the bigger ones have a bit more sort of control over them because of their size. But let's see if we can get through this stage anyway. Sound-wise, it's a bit shouty. I find that the voiceover's a little bit off, and it's quite distracting. And the tyre squealing really is appalling. That's gonna cost this game some points, I'm afraid. But other than that, you know, there's not much really to talk about with sound. It's just your standard racing noises and a very, very annoying commentator, which kind of lets it down too, because you concentrate on what he's shouting at you, and it's a bit annoying. So let's try one of the bigger cars. Let's try the Mercedes and see how we get on with that. And that's the 300 SLR, so that'd be quite nice. So let's have a look at that, see if there's any difference in it whatsoever. Obviously quite a bit bigger than the other cars I've just driven, so let's see if there's any sort of benefit to driving something. Oh, actually the handling on it was a lot nicer there. The corner turning was a lot sharper there, so maybe that's... yeah. So I think you've got a bit more control over the beefier cars, because they're obviously a bit heavier, so you've got a bit more sort of control over those. So I would probably suggest that you start with one of these. They're a bit tanky, but as you can see, I'm second place without anybody sort of coming close here, so it's quite cool. I like. And there we are, just taking first place. So yeah, bigger the car, the more you have control. So that's what I would recommend anyway. But this has been Mille Miglia 2 for the arcade format, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks ever so much for tuning in. As always, I very much appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next video. Remember to like, share and subscribe to be kept up to date with all my latest news and reviews. Thanks very much. Take care, everybody. I shall probably be back tomorrow. Racing week, yes, I have something planned for the end of the week too, which I think you're going to enjoy. Anyway, this is me, over and out. Bye for now.